Good morning, CrossFit Glasgow. Friday again. Cannot believe how fast these lockdown weeks are going. Today's workout is a lovely workout to get you into the weekend. Really straightforward. 5 rounds for time, 10 inverse row or bent over row, 15 lateral burpees over an object. Your object can be whatever you're bending over to pick up in your row, or it can be a trusting human if you have one of those lying around your house. I don't. I have 2 teenagers. They're not trusting of their mother at all. To scale this workout, it's just one simple scale. Take the burpees down. Okay, so take them from 15 to 10. And instead of a jump over your object, you can just step over your object. It's not a problem. Okay, so 5 rounds for time for both divisions of RX or your scaled silvers. We're sticking with the 5 rounds today. Loads of options to go through with you for your inverse rows and your bent over row. The inverse rows I see on YouTube, there's loads of creativity going around, so we're going to play around with a few options today for those. Your warm-up today is going to be interesting. I'm going to demo this for you, so bear with me while we go through that. Plank hold, feet to hands. It's almost like a burpee style. We're going to do 20 of those, a 15-second frog stand, back to the feet in the plank hold, 20 of those. And then a 15-second headstand tuck, so where your legs are tucked in, your feet are tucked in. Then back to 20 plank hold, feet to hands, pardon me, and finishing with a 15-second hold into a headstand this time. If those frog stands are all you're managing today, then stay at the frog stand. If the frog stand is feeling like it's just not working at all, then you're just going to do a pike hold. So pop your feet up onto an object, and I want you to get into an inverted position on your hands, and you're going to have your head right through, and you're going to be holding that same position for 15 seconds every time. Okay? Try the frog stand. This is our time where we've got lots of time to practice indoors. You can have someone standing there if you're nervous to bring your feet up, and they can bring your feet up for you into the headstand. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and go through the different movements for the workout, and then I'll get you into the warm-up. So first of all, we're going to cover the inverse row. The inverse row in the gym looks like this. I'm going to have my cameraman wander over to this part of the gym so he can see me. We have a bar set up, or a kid's bar set up, and we pop our hands underneath our shoulders, feet in front of us, and we are pulling ourselves to that bar. Key thing is that my body is not sagging in the middle, so you don't see my bum going down, you don't see my chest leading. Okay, so we're all one solid position there. Okay, that's the traditional inverse row. How do we change this when we're at home? There's a couple of options we can do. I don't have a table in here, but if you do have a table, everyone has a table at home hopefully, you can slide under the table and you can just pull yourself in underneath that table. Okay, so that's an option for the inverse rows depending what kind of table you have. You can loop, I showed this a couple weeks ago, you can loop a towel around a banister, like a stair banister. If it's a really sturdy banister, just loop it around there. Okay, and feet in front, pulling yourself in that way. Okay, that's another option. If you don't have a banister, everybody has a door. Okay, this is one that was posted on CrossFit last week. You can do a sheet or a towel. I've used a blanket, like quite a thin fleece blanket, and I just tied a big knot in it. If you're doing this, make sure the door closes into you, that it's not coming out the way. Okay, that's how the accidents happen. Definitely post that on YouTube if that happens to you though. I'm going to pop the knot on the outside of the door.
Now this is going to get interesting.
Yeah, well, we'll just see what happens. Actually, I'm not sure if this is going to work.
Come on, you can do it, Viv.
I totally practiced this before and it was fine.
Oh, we know you've practiced.
Okay.
Okay.
I have no cushioning underneath me.
Yeah, you do.
Cameraman's laughing at me.
You do. You've got lots of cushioning.
This is going to work. We're fine.
Okay.
Fine. Okay, feet together, exactly the same as that inverse row over there. You're going to pull chest to the towel or the sheet, whatever you're using. To make it harder, you can just let your hands slide down that towel or blanket, and you go down a little bit lower. Again, keeping that straight body position. The further your feet travel towards the door, the harder it's going to be. Okay, if you want to make it a little easier, you just bring your feet closer to yourself. It totally worked. No fails. The warm-up, that's
Well
where
done.
the fails are going to
Well
happen.
done.
Okay, the headstand stuff. Okay, so those are the inverse rows. I think I've covered most options for that. For the bent over row, again, loads of different things you can do here. If you happen to have a dumbbell, you can do a single arm bent over row. Feet are set under the hips. Hips go back, and you're just going to pull in towards that chest, one hand at a time. If it's a light dumbbell, half on one side, swap sides, half on the other side. If it's a heavier object like a backpack, you grab the handles of it, fill it, load it with books or whatever big heavy objects you have in your house, minus the humans, that would be weird. And you're just going to pull that backpack into your chest, okay? Or again, if it's a heavy kettlebell, one kettlebell, two hands, perfect, okay? Two objects, exactly the same idea, just pulling them in. If they feel fairly light, do a slow descend, okay? So just challenging that movement. Other options for bent over row, you have a band, just pull the band tight, get loads of tension in it, and pull that to your chest. Again, slow this movement right down to feel the work, constantly pulling the hands apart from each other. Okay, same thing with a twisted up towel that will work almost identically to the band, pulling that apart, and again, just really working that tension, moving slowly in that movement as well, okay? Bent over row, I think I've covered everything for that. We're gonna get you guys into the warm-up. Sorry, no we're not. We're gonna do the lateral burpees. So my object today, you guys can use tins like we did for the Solidarity series in number 1 or 2, I think it was. And basically it's 2 tins set up with a pole, broom post of any kind over top.
Can you close the door, please?
Oh, yeah. Was the lighting bad on me there?
Yep, it's okay now.
Okay. I'm going to use a dumbbell for this, okay? So you can have this here or you can have it there. I'm going to create a little bit more of a challenge for myself today. I'm going to have that upright. So when I have that object, I need to do my burpee with my feet starting beside it. Okay, that's really important. Chest and thighs to floor, back up, and a jump over top. Or a step over if you're scaling it today. Okay, 15 of those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc., all the way to 15, and then you're back to those 10 inverse or bent over rows. All right, that's the workout today. Now the fun starts with Kai's crazy warm-up. First thing you're going to do is you're going to go in plank position and you're going to jump your feet in towards your hands. It's kind of like a mountain climber a little bit. So it's going to look like this. Hands stacked under the shoulders. Come in and back out for 20. Okay. Once you've done 20 of those, we're going to go into that frog stand. The frog stand, I've set up a little mat here just because I don't totally trust my frog stands or my headstands yet. Important thing to work out here is really finding your balance with your hands. So the more you grip the floor, like think of your fingers like your toes wiggle around and move when you're walking, and that's a lot to do with your balance, right? So the same goes for our hands, and that will lead into your handstands, your headstands, your handstand walks if you get to that. Also, we need to be in that tripod position, okay? So I'm gonna pop my knees up onto my elbows or my forearm. So the frog stand looks like this. And you're just gonna hold that for 15 seconds, okay? Or up to 15 seconds. Just play around with it. You can put one leg up at a time and just tap the floor as you need to and start finding your balance there. Next one, we're gonna go into a partial headstand. So we're gonna be on our head for this, where I'm gonna keep that tucked position, okay? So you can just go into this as slowly and cautiously, like myself, as you need to. Okay, so again, I'm really gripping the floor here. I'm gonna put my head down into that tripod position. One knee up, other knee up, and in that tuck position. Okay, Then we're back to those 20 crazy plank feet to hands. And then we come back again. We're gonna try one more thing. And this is the headstand now, the 15-second hold, okay? I go into this quite slowly because I don't practice these a lot. This should have been Ryan's day for briefing, definitely. Okay, so I'm really gripping that floor again. Head's going down. I'm gonna start with that tuck position that I just showed you. And then one leg comes up, other leg comes up. Squeeze your bum, point your toes, make it pretty, and that's it. Okay, so 15 seconds on that. See how you get on today with that. Just play around with it. Like I said at the beginning, if you need to just do a pike position on this, then do, but just practicing getting upside down and holding these positions are really, really good for you. Okay, have fun, enjoy the hot weather this weekend. We'll see you guys next week.